Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, let's continue reading from Chaitanya Bhagavata. This is Madhya-Khanda, chapter 19, entitled Description of Pastimes in Lord Advaita's Home. Oh, Lord Chaitanya, oh, Master of all the Vaishnavas, glory to you. Oh, Lord, please give the conditioned souls the gift of devotional service. Please accept them as your own devotees. In this way, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes in Navadvip. Still, his pastimes were not visible to the eyes of everyone. In home after home, he enjoyed pastimes with Nityananda, Gadadhar, and other devotees. Devotees became filled with spiritual bliss given them by the Lord. They saw all the worlds were filled with Lord Krishna's presence. They were always wrapped in ecstasy of love for Lord Krishna. They were never in external consciousness. Sankirtan was their only activity. They did nothing else. Lord Advaita was the most wild of all the devotees. No one understood the fathomless, deep meaning of his activities. Only by Lord Chaitanya's mercy can one understand Advaitacharya, who is Lord Chaitanya's great devotee and the master of Shantipur. When he returned to external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya devotedly served the Vaishnavas. Especially he served Advaitacharya. At this, Advaitacharya was very unhappy. In his thoughts, he made sounds like thunder. In his heart, he was not happy. He thought, "This thief always cheats and mocks me. Renouncing his position as the Supreme Master, he grabs my feet. The Lord is very powerful. I have no power against him. He forcibly takes the dust of my feet." The power of devotional service is my only recourse. Without engaging in devotional service, no one can understand Lord Chaitanya. When I break apart material illusion and crush it into powder, the people call me Advaita the Lion. This thief defeated Bhrigu Muni. I will gather hundreds and hundreds of disciples like Bhrigu. Then great anger will take birth in the Lord's body. With his own hand, the Lord will punish me. The Lord descended to this world to teach devotional service. I will not give any importance to devotional service. That's what I'll teach. When I say that devotional service is not important, the Lord will forget himself with anger. Then the Lord will grab me by the hair and punish me. Thinking in this way, Advaita became very happy. Accompanied by Haridas, Advaita went on a journey. To execute his plan, he went to his home in Shantipur. To further the plan of his heart, he began to study. Wrapped in ecstatic love, he became like a wild man, preaching the philosophy of impersonalism. He began to give lectures on the book Yoga Vasishta. He said, "Without first accepting the philosophy of impersonalism, devotion to Lord Vishnu has no power. Impersonalism is the life of all spiritual activity. Impersonalism has spiritual power." Not understanding the truth of impersonalism, people leave the wealth they have at home and go to the forest. Devotion to Lord Vishnu is a mirror, and impersonal philosophy is a pair of eyes. How can a man without eyes look in a mirror? I've studied all the scriptures from beginning to end. In this way, I have understood that impersonalism alone is the true teaching of the scriptures. Haridas understood Advaita's actions very well. Hearing these explanations, Haridas laughed very, very, very loudly. Advaitacharya's actions are inconceivable. No one can plumb their depths. Pious persons think his actions are good. Impious persons think they are bad. Lord Chaitanya, who's like a kalpavriksha tree that fulfills all desires, in his heart understood Advaita's desire. One day, Lord Chaitanya happily walked in the town. Accompanied by Lord Nityananda, he looked at the world he had created. Concluding his work was good, the demigod Brahma thought in his heart, "With his own eyes the Supreme Lord looks at my craftsmanship." Like two moons, the lords walked about. To the extent that they possessed humbleness and devotion, the people were able to see the two lords. Staying in the sky, the demigods saw everything. In their huts, they thought the two lords were two moons. Thinking the two lords were moons, the demigods mistook their worlds for the earth, and the earth for Svargaloka. The idea that they were human beings took birth among them. The effulgence of the two moons convinced them that the human beings must be demigods. Gazing at the two moons, they said, "In Svargaloka there were never two moons." One demigod said, "Please hear my words. One of them is the original moon, the other is a reflection." Another demigod said, "I think that we are fortunate, for Lord Narayan has created two moons for us." Another demigod said, "Father and son look alike. I think one of these is the moon and the other is the moon's son, Mars." Even the Vedas cannot understand the truth of the Lord's form. Therefore, it's not surprising that the demigods were bewildered. In this way, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda walked about the town. Lord Chaitanya said to Lord Nityananda, "Let us visit Advaitacharya's home in Shantipur." Happy and playful, the two lords walked on the path to Advaitacharya's home. Halfway on the path to Shantipur near the Ganga, they came to a village called Lalitapur. In this village lived a household sannyasi. His house was by the path near the Ganga. Lord Chaitanya asked Lord Nityananda, "Whose house is this? Who lives here? Please tell." Lord Nityananda replied, "This is a sannyasi's home." Lord Chaitanya said, "If we're fortunate, we may see him." Smiling and laughing, the two lords went to the sannyasi's house. Lord Chaitanya offered obeisances to the sannyasi. Gazing at the charming forms, blossoming faces, and graceful limbs of the two Brahmin sons, the sannyasi happily offered many blessings. "May you have wealth, fame, good marriage, great learning," he said. Then Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, true sannyasi does not give a blessing like that. A true sannyasi will say, 'May you attain Lord Krishna's mercy.' Devotion to Lord Vishnu is the true blessing. It is eternal, can never be lost. That blessing a true sannyasi will give. What you say is not right." Laughing, the sannyasi said, "Today I have found the proof of what I heard before. A person who speaks sweet words will find himself beaten with sticks. This Brahmin son acts like that. I cheerfully blessed him, he'll become wealthy. What has happened to the good deed I just did? What fault is there on my part?" Sannyasi continued, "Listen, Brahmin boy, why do you criticize my blessing? If a person born in this world does not enjoy pastimes with beautiful, amorous women, does not have wealth, then what's he doing with his life? I give you the blessing to become wealthy, and you only become embarrassed to receive it. You may be a devotee of Lord Vishnu, but how do you maintain your body without money? Tell me that." Hearing the sannyasi's words, Lord Chaitanya laughed. Lifting his graceful hand, he placed it to his forehead. By these actions, Lord Chaitanya taught everyone, one should not desire anything but devotional service. Lord Chaitanya said, "Please listen, listen, O Sannyasi Goswami. It's because of his past karma that a living being eats food and encounters various situations. If the purpose of life in this world is to enjoy wealth and family, then, please tell me, Why are wealth and family always taken away at death? No one desires disease. Why do diseases torture our bodies? Listen, listen, O Sannyasi Goswami. The reason for all this is karma. A person who is wise understands the heart of all this. Someone may claim that the Vedas teach how to ascend to Svargaloka. This teaching is an example of the Vedas' mercy to fools. Most people are happy to enjoy material sense pleasures. Knowing the people's heart, the Vedas speak about Svargaloka. Are the Vedas not at fault for this? Hearing the Vedas say, by bathing in the Ganges and chanting the holy name of Lord Hari, one attains wealth and happy family life, and the people follow. However, by the power of bathing in the Ganga and chanting the holy name of Lord Hari, the people can attain devotional service to the Lord. This secret purpose of the Vedas the fools do not know. Rejecting devotional service to Lord Krishna, they plunge into material pleasures. O Goswami, please consider what is good and bad. Nothing is better than devotional service to Lord Krishna. Assuming the role of teacher, Shiksha Guru to the sannyasi, the Supreme Lord explained that the Vedas teach the superiority of devotional service. What Lord Chaitanya says is the truth. Only sinners mock and reject his words. Hearing Lord Chaitanya's words, the sannyasi laughed and thought, I think this Brahmin is crazy. Some mantra must be the reason for his craziness. I think that sannyasi with him must have given him these ideas. That is why this Brahmin boy is so bewildered. Then the sannyasi said, the time has come, standing before a child. I know nothing. I've traveled over the earth. I've traveled to Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Badrikashram, Guruvata, Varanasi, Gaya, Vijayanagara, Samala, and all the important cities. I do not know what is right. What I say is wrong. Now a boy still drinking his mother milk must give me instruction. Laughing, Lord Nityananda said, listen, sannyasi, you shouldn't argue with a child. I know how glorious you are. Please glance at us and forgive everything. Hearing himself praised, the sannyasi became happy and cheerfully invited his guests to a meal. Lord Nityananda said, we must hurry on urgent business. Please give us something. After bathing, we will stop on the path and eat. The sannyasi said, bathe here. Eat something here, rest, and then go. The two lords had descended to this world to save the sinners. That's why they stayed at the sannyasi's home. Bathing in the Ganga, they washed away the fatigue of their journey on the road. Then they sat down to eat some fruit. They offered some milk, mangoes, panasa, and other fruit to Lord Krishna, and then, as the sannyasi looked on, they ate the remnants. A follower of the left path, the sannyasi was accustomed to drink wine. Again and again, gesturing to Lord Nityananda, he said, listen, Shripad, shall I bring some bliss? Where will I find guests like you? Having traveled in different places, Lord Nityananda understood everything. In his heart he thought, this sannyasi drinks wine. Again and again the sannyasi said, I will bring some bliss. Lord Nityananda said, we must leave now. Gazing at the two lords, handsome like Kamadev, and become rapt in thinking of them, the sannyasi's wife desired them. She rebuked the sannyasi. Why do you interrupt their meal? Then Lord Chaitanya said, what is this? Bliss the sannyasi talks about? Lord Nityananda said, he means wine. Calling out, Vishnu, Vishnu, Lord Chaitanya rinsed his mouth and ran from the house. The two lords ran and jumped in the Ganga. They swam in the Ganga until they came to Acharya's house. In this way, the Lord was merciful even to a debauchee wine drinker. Still, he destroys even the Vedantists if they become blasphemers. The sannyasi drank wine and enjoyed the company of women. Still, Lord Chaitanya visited his home. Lord Chaitanya conversed with him, taught him, rested in his home, accepted the meal he offered. In that birth, the sannyasi did not become saintly, but in another birth he will. But the blasphemers do not soon become saintly at heart. A non-devotee sannyasi cannot see the Lord. The sannyasis of Varanasi bear witness to this truth. In the Madhya-Khanda of this book, the sannyasis of Varanasi hear of Lord Chaitanya's arrival there. Hearing this news, the sannyasis become joyful. Hearing this news, the great souls there declare, "Let us see Lord Chaitanya." The Vedantists, philosophers, ascetics, famous persons, and persons living from birth in Varanasi all shared the same fault. In commenting on Vedanta Sutra, they never discussed devotional service to Lord Vishnu. Because he is the super soul in the hearts of all, the fair lion of Lord Chaitanya knew everything. Even though he went to Varanasi, he did not allow the people there to see him. Hiding in Ramachandra Puri's mutt, he stayed for 2 months in Varanasi. And 2 days before the festival of Vishwarup Shora, he secretly left. Only later did some of them see him. Only later did the sannyasis hear of this. Lord Chaitanya went to Varanasi, but he did not allow the people to see him. The sin of blasphemy robs all intelligence. In whose heart will suffering not take birth because of blasphemy? They said, "We are sannyasis. Why did he leave without speaking to us? Why did he leave 2 days early and neglect his duty? Why did he refuse to observe the Vishwarup Shora ceremony?" Non-devotees think like that. Lord Shiva never accepts worship offered by blasphemers. The blasphemers who live in Varanasi are all punished by Lord Shiva, and they who offend Lord Shiva are not eligible to worship Lord Vishnu. Lord Chaitanya delivers everyone, except the sinners who blaspheme Vaishnavas. Lord Chaitanya bathed and ate at a wine drinker's home, but he would not even show himself to the blasphemer Vedantists. Souls who in their hearts do not fear punishment from Lord Chaitanya will be punished by Yamaraj birth after birth. A person who is not delighted by Lord Chaitanya's glories always described by the mouths of Brahma, Shiva, and Goddess Lakshmi, the mother of all, has uselessly accepted sannyas. He uselessly studies Vedanta. The 2 lords joyfully swam in the Ganga waves. Again and again Lord Chaitanya roared, "I am he, I am he." Nara broke my sleep and brought me here. Now he hides the truth of devotional service and preaches impersonalism. Today I'll see him with my own eyes. I will punish him. Today everyone will see what happens to the impersonalists. Roaring in this way, Lord Chaitanya swam in the Ganga's current. Remaining silent, Lord Nityananda smiled within his heart. In this way the 2 lords swam in the Ganga. They were like Lord Vishnu and Ananta Shai in the milk ocean. Very powerful because of his devotional service, Advaita understood what was about to happen. In his heart he thought, "Now my actions will bear fruit." Understanding, the Lord is coming with great anger. Advaita preached impersonalism more wildly than before. Who has the power to understand the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya's devotees? The 2 lords met on the Ganga's path. Accompanied by Lord Nityananda, and his face filled with anger, Lord Chaitanya went to see Advaita. Preaching impersonalism, Advaita happily swayed to and fro. Seeing Lord Chaitanya, Haridas offered Dandavat obeisances. Advaita's son Achyuta also offered obeisances. In her heart, Advaita's wife offered obeisances. Seeing the Lord's form, in her heart she was worried. Lord Chaitanya was brilliant like 10 million suns. Gazing at him, everyone felt fear take birth in their hearts. His face filled with anger, Lord Chaitanya said, "Ah, Nara, look at impersonalism and devotional service and tell me, of the 2, which is better?" Advaita replied, "Impersonalism is always better. Unless one is an impersonalist, how can one hope to attain devotional service?" Hearing Advaita say impersonalism is better, Lord Chaitanya became enraged. He forgot the external world. Dragging him from his seat, Lord Chaitanya raised his fist and struck Advaita. Understanding everything, Advaita's devoted wife, who is the mother of the worlds, became agitated. She called out, "He's an old Brahmin, spare his life by punishing him. Whom do you teach? What more will you do to this old Brahmin? Why can you not leave him in peace?" Hearing the saintly woman's words, Lord Nityananda smiled. Frightened, Haridas meditated on Lord Krishna. Angrily, Lord Chaitanya did not hear the saint woman's words. With angry words, he loudly rebuked Advaita. "I slept on the milk ocean. Then you, Nara, woke me to fulfill my mission. You brought me here to teach devotional service. Now you're hiding devotional service and teaching impersonalism. If you wanted to hide devotional service, if that was in your heart, why did you bring me here to teach it? I did not go against your desire. Why do you cheat me?" After thus rebuking Advaita, Lord Chaitanya sat down by the door. Then, speaking in a loud voice, he revealed the truth about himself. It was I who killed Kamsa. Look, Nara, you know everything. Brahma, Shiva, Shesha, and Lakshmi all serve me. My chakra killed the jackal Vasudev. My chakra burned Varanasi. My arrow killed powerful Ravana. My chakra cut Banashura's many arms. My chakra killed Narakasura. I held the hill with my left hand. I brought the Parajata from Svargaloka. I cheated Bali. I gave him mercy. I killed Hiranyakashipu and rescued Prahlad. Hearing Lord Chaitanya reveal his own glories, Advaita floated in an ocean of ecstatic love. Attaining this punishment, Advaita became filled with bliss. Now, humble and submissive, he clapped his hands and danced. He said, "As I offended, so I was punished. The Lord was good to me. I got only a small punishment. Now I know you are my master. You punished me for my misdeed. Lord, in my heart, I now have the strength to be your servant." Speaking these words, Advaita joyfully danced. Advaita joyfully danced everywhere in the courtyard. Then, knitting his eyebrows, he placed these words before Lord Chaitanya's feet. "Where has your flattery of me gone? Where has all your cheating gone? I am not Durvasa that you can insult me by anointing your limbs with the remnants of my meal. Neither am I Brigamuni, the dust of whose feet you happily keep on your chest as a Shivat's mark. My name is Advaita. I'm your pure servant. Birth after birth, I yearn to taste the remnants of what you have eaten. The power of tasting what you have eaten has made me free of Maya. You've punished me. Now, please give me the shade of your feet." After speaking these words, Advaita humbly and devotedly fell to the ground and placed on his head Lord Chaitanya's feet. Respectfully picking him up, Lord Chaitanya embraced Advaita. Advaita wept without restraint. Seeing Advaita's devotion, Nityananda also wept. It was as if a river of tears flowed from him. Falling to the ground, Haridas wept. Advaita's wife wept. Advaita's servants wept. Advaita's son Achyutananda wept. Advaita's home was filled with ecstatic love for Lord Krishna. Now Lord Chaitanya was embarrassed that he struck Advaita. To Advaita he happily offered a boon. He said, "If anyone for even a half sesame seed's worth of time takes shelter of you, even if he is an insect, a worm, a beast or a bird, or even if he has offended me 100 times, I will give my mercy to him." Hearing this boon, the great soul Advaita wept. Grasping the Lord's feet, he humbly said, "O Lord, whatever you speak is never false. O Lord, please hear the solemn vow I now make. If anyone has devotion for me, but does not honor you, I will destroy his devotion for me. Anyone who does not worship your lotus feet or give honor to you is not my devotee. Lord, anyone who worships you is my very life. I cannot stay in the company of anyone who offends you. I will not even look at a person, even if he is my son or my servant, who offends a Vaishnava. If a person rejects you and worships 10 million demigods instead, the demigods on some pretext will destroy him. It's not I who say this. This is the teaching of the Vedas. Sudakshina's death is the proof of this. A prince of Varanasi named Sudakshina worshipped Lord Shiva in deep trance. Very pleased with him, Lord Shiva said, "Ask for a boon. You will get whatever you wish. Perform an apachara yagna. However, if you offend a devotee of Lord Vishnu, the yagna will take away your life." Lord Shiva spoke these words to deceive Sudakshina. This Sudakshina did not understand, so on Lord Shiva's order, Sudakshina performed an abhichara yagna. From that yagna arose a very fearful being, a being with 3 hands, 3 feet, 3 heads, and being taller than a palm tree. The creature said, "Ask for a boon." Prince Sudakshina said, "O noble one, burn up the city of Dwarka." Hearing this, the creature, an incarnation of Lord Shiva, became unhappy, for he knew that desire would not be fulfilled. Following the order, the creature went to Dwarka, where he was promptly attacked by the chakra that protects Dwarka. Finding no way to escape, the great form of Lord Shiva fell down before the chakra's feet and said, "Durvasa could not escape from you. Brahma and Shiva could not protect Durvasa from you. What is my power compared to the power of these great Vaishnavas? Where can I flee? Lord, you may do with me whatever you like. Glory, glory to my master, who bears the name Sudarshan. Glory to the chakra, who is the abode of Lord Krishna, and who is another glory of Lord Shiva. Glory to the great chakra, glory to the greatest of Vaishnavas, glory to he who makes the demons fearful, glory to he who protects they who are not demons." Hearing this prayer, the Sudarshan chakra happily said, "Go and burn up the prince of Varanasi." Then the fearsome creature returned and burned up the prince of Varanasi. Neglecting you, the prince worshipped only Lord Shiva. That is why the prince died in this yagna. O Lord, this I say, if anyone neglects you and serves me instead, I will destroy him. I will burn him up. You are the master of my life. You are my wealth. You are my mother, my father, you're my kinsman. If anyone neglects you and bows down before me, I will cut off his head. King Satyajit directly saw the sun god and worshipped him with devotion. But when Satyajit disobeyed your order, the sun god became displeased. When Satyajit and his brother both died, the sun god was happy to see it. Duryodhana was Lord Balaram's disciple. Still, when he offended you, Duryodhana perished with all his kinsmen. Hiranyakashipu obtained a great boon from demigod Brahma. Still, when he offended you, Hiranyakashipu perished with all his kinsmen. Cutting off some of his heads, 10-headed Ravana worshipped Lord Shiva. Still, when he offended you, Ravana perished with all his kinsmen. You are the root of all the demigods. You are the master of all. All persons, visible and invisible, are your servants. When a person neglects the master and worships the servant eats the offerings and then destroys the offender. A person who neglects you and then worships Shiva and the other demigods is like a person who cuts off a tree's roots and then worships the twigs and branches. You're the root of the Vedas, Brahmins, Yagnas, and religion. I do not accept worship from anyone who does not worship you. Hearing Advaita's description of these spiritual truths, Lord Chaitanya roared, "Everyone, please give your thoughts to me. Please hear the truth I will now say. Anyone who neglects my servant and then worships me is very lowly and degraded. Such a person cuts me into pieces. His worship is like fire burning my body. My holy name, which is a kalpavriksha tree, destroys anyone who once blasphemes my servant. The living entities who live in the numberless universes are my servants. Therefore, any living entity who harms another living entity will perish. You are more dear to me than my own body. Anyone who offends you will not be able to bear the fate that waits for him. If a sannyasi blasphemes an innocent person, the sannyasi will fall down. All his piety will perish. Raising his arms, Lord Chaitanya declared to the entire world, renouncing criticism of others, everyone please chant Lord Krishna's name. I will personally deliver anyone who does not criticize others and who once chants Krishna. That's the truth. It's the truth. When Lord Chaitanya spoke these words, the devotees responded with, Jai, Jai, Jai. Grasping Lord Chaitanya's feet, Advaita wept. Embracing Advaita, Lord Chaitanya wept. The whole world floated in love for Advaita. This is the very inconceivable story of Lord Advaita. Who has the power to understand Advaita's words? Please know that Advaita is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. If he truly understood them, the hearer would find the arguments and insults Nityananda and Advaita speak to each other are filled with bliss. The words and activities of Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas are very difficult to understand. Only by their mercy can one understand the heart of those words and activities. Only Lord Anantasesh, who sings their names and glories with his 1,000 mouths, has the power to understand the conversations of Nityananda and Advaita. Glancing for a moment at Lord Advaita, Lord Chaitanya smiled and said, I was a little mischievous. I acted like a child. Advaita replied, nothing about you is material. And Lord Chaitanya said, please listen, O noble-hearted Nityananda. If I was a little mischievous, please forgive me. Looking at each other, Nityananda, Chaitanya, Advaita, and Haridas all laughed. Then, addressing her as mother, Lord Chaitanya spoke to Advaita's saintly and devoted wife. Lord Chaitanya said, go quickly, cook, offer the meal to Lord Krishna, then I will eat the remnants. Then, accompanied by Nityananda, Haridas, Advaita, and the others, Lord Chaitanya went to bathe in the Ganga. In the future, the Vedas will elaborately describe all these blissful pastimes. After bathing, the Lord and his devotees returned to Advaita's home. After washing his feet, Lord Chaitanya offered dandavat obeisances before the deity of Lord Krishna. Then Advaita fell down before the soles of Lord Chaitanya's feet, and Haridas fell down before the soles of Advaita's feet. Seeing these wonderful pastimes, Nityananda smiled. He who is the original author of religion was manifest in 3 forms. Seeing Advaita at the soles of his feet, Lord Chaitanya hastily rose and chanted, Vishnu, Vishnu. Accompanied by Nityananda and holding Advaita's hand, Lord Chaitanya happily entered the dining room. The 3 lords, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Lord Advaita, sat down together in the dining room. Each of the 3 lords had his own nature. Lord Nityananda's nature was that of a mischievous boy. Haridas sat down at the dining room's entrance. He was qualified to see all these pastimes. Chanting, Hari, Hari, Advaita's saintly wife, who was the queen of yoga, served the meal to the 3 lords. The 3 lords eagerly ate the meal of splendid rice, ghee, milk, and sweet rice. Glancing at Advaita, Nityananda smiled. He who is one person had become 2 for Lord Krishna's pastimes. When everyone was full, a little more food remained. Then Lord Nityananda became like a boy. Throwing the rice here and there in the house, Nityananda laughed. Lord Chaitanya called out, Hey, hey! Haridas smiled. Seeing all this, Advaita burned with flames of anger. On the pretext of being angry, he explained the truth of Lord Nityananda. He said, This Nityananda has destroyed our caste. From where did he come? He stays with drunkards. He has no guru. Still, he calls himself a sannyasi. I do not know for certain even the village where he was born. No one knows him. No one knows his family and caste. Swaying to and fro, he wanders about like a drunken elephant. In the West, he ate rice in house after house. Then he came here. Now he stays among the Brahmins. This drunkard Nityananda will destroy everything. That's the truth, the truth, the truth. Listen to me, Haridas. Filled with anger, Advaita made himself clothed only by the four directions. Clapping his hands and loudly laughing, he danced. Seeing Advaita's actions, Lord Chaitanya laughed. Laughing, Nityananda pointed two fingers at Advaita. The laughter directed at Advaita was completely pure. Young and old laughed. After a moment, everyone returned to external consciousness. They rinsed their mouths, and then they happily embraced. Nityananda and Advaita embraced, and tasting the nectar of ecstatic love, the two lords were filled with bliss. Nityananda and Advaita are the two arms of Lord Chaitanya's body. They always love each other. There is not a moment when they do not love each other. Please see this quarrel as Lord Krishna's pastimes. Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas play like children. In this way, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes in Advaita's home. Filled with bliss, he enjoyed pastimes of Sankirtan. Only Lord Balaram has the power to understand these pastimes. Others do not understand all the glories of these pastimes. By Lord Balaram's mercy, Goddess Saraswati also understands these pastimes. Staying on the devotees' tongues, Saraswati sings the glories of these pastimes. I do not know the sequence of all these pastimes. I only try to sing the glories of Lord Krishna as far as I am able. I bow down before the feet of Lord Chaitanya's dear devotees. O devotees, please forgive all my offenses. For some days, Lord Chaitanya stayed in Advaita's home. Then the three lords returned to Navadvip. Accompanied by Nityananda, Advaita, and Haridas, Lord Chaitanya returned to his home. Hearing, "The Lord has come," the Vaishnavas joyfully ran to see him. Gazing at the Lord's moon-like face, the devotees felt all their sufferings were taken away. Grasping the Lord's feet, the devotees wept. Lord Chaitanya is the life of all the devotees. He lovingly embraced them all. The Lord's personal associates are like the Lord's own incarnations. They are all very kind and generous. They're the best of the devotees. They all bowed down before Lord Advaita, whose devotional activities made Lord Chaitanya descend to this world. The Vaishnavas were all wild with bliss. Accompanied by the Lord, they made a great tumult of chanting Lord Krishna's names. Seeing her son, Mother Sachi was overcome with bliss. Accompanied by her daughter-in-law, she offered prayers of thanks to Lord Krishna. Only thousand-faced Lord Anantasesh has the power to describe these pastimes. He's my life, birth after birth. Dvija, Vipra, and Brahma are three names for the same thing. In the same way, Nityananda and Balaram are different names of the same person. Anyone who hears these pastimes, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed at Advaita's home, will one day attain the Lord. One day he'll meet the Lord. The two moons, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda, are my life and soul. I, Vrndavana Das, sing the glories of their feet.